Prepare yourself for a talk radio experience like no other.
Strap yourselves in and hold on.
He stands for truth. He stands for justice. He stands for what's right. This is the Alex Jones Show. Call Alex now, toll free, at 877-590-5525. Now live from Austin, Texas, here's Alex Jones.
Yeah, we're back live. Ed, Charles, Derek, Jesse, everybody that's patiently holding. We're going to get to your calls here very quickly. In fact, in this segment. Look, I could elaborate all day, but if you're an anti-establishment, anti-New World Order, anti-corruption candidate that hurts the global corporate crime structure, that is rapidly destroying the free market and setting up world government so it can have its will with you and your family and literally make you slaves, that's their own stated goals. Well, notice they ignored Ron Paul, they demonized Ron Paul, they gave him a third of the questions, a third of the time in the debates. Notice how they give Barack Obama all this attention and love him. Just like they give Hillary Clinton all this attention and love her. Just like they give John McCain all this attention. They steer the debate by who they give the attention. Let me just give you a news flash here. Barack Obama, we've written articles about it, it's been in the mainstream news, he's called for a global tax of hundreds of billions of dollars a year to the United Nations to, quote, fight poverty. But when you actually look at what the tax is, they never label it what it actually is. It is to go in with the IMF and World Bank and take even greater control of third world nations and restrict their energy output, restrict their industrialization. I've made a 2+ hour film about this. You see, when you read in your local paper about green communities and green businesses and green solutions, most of it's legitimate and real and a good idea. They just come in and piggyback on this movement for alternative energy, which can be a great business, and then they add to it, oh, by the way, let's have a bunch of regulation and taxation, local taxes, local control, and the big corporations are pushing for this. Barack Obama is pushing for a global tax, and if he gets into office, he'll probably be able to get it unless we fight him. And talk about messianic, they're acting like it's JFK, they're acting like it's Jesus, they're acting like the Savior has landed. The eagle has landed. And I don't think Hillary has a prayer now. I have to say that, barring some scandal coming out, I thought it would be Hillary. All the big money was on her. Las Vegas was betting on her. They're rarely wrong. But Barack Obama has got Zbigniew Brzezinski and others. The Rockefellers as his advisors. He's got the biggest banks backing him. He's got the big money backing him. So just make no mistake. The establishment is pushing Barack Obama right now. And they tried to force feed the public Hillary. The public kind of spit her back up because of all the baggage. I'm not saying he's not a likable guy. I'm not saying it's an interesting success story. But Barack Obama is for restricting more Second Amendment. He is for open borders. Barack Obama then mixes in a little bit of populist ideas of, oh, we'll keep some of our jobs here in the U.S. And, oh, I don't think NAFTA and GATT were good. But then he's actually for the Security and Prosperity Partnership that expands that into the North American Union. So he's playing politics with you, and Barack Obama's lying to you because his advisors and the people that control him are all for the New World Order, all for the SPP. And then there's this debate between, well, he's going to fine parents if they don't have health care for their kids, and he's for socialized health care, but he doesn't think we should take your paycheck. There's about 2 degrees between his plan and her plan. Folks, if angels ran the government, it'd be fine to take somebody else's wealth and give somebody else health care. But did you know that they wait on average 16 months in England for brain surgery when they have a tumor? They wait on average more than 6 months when you need heart surgery. I mean, go look it up. That's mainstream news in England. Canadians have to come here to get their health care. We don't have a free market system, though. We have corporate fascism with scams being run with the insurance companies and the big hospitals. Did you know that if you don't have insurance, on average your bill's about 4 times larger, but when you do have insurance, the insurance companies go in and have deals with the hospitals and it's a lot less? You got insurance, baby, $6-7 grand. You don't have insurance, it could be $30 grand. Most people cannot fathom what it's going to be like to live under socialized health care because you haven't lived outside the U.S. and you haven't studied it. But there's not just that. This will give the government control over health care and meting it out and who gets it. And remember, just in the last 6 months, the U.S. and British governments have announced, oh, we don't want the overweight, we don't want smokers, we don't want them to have health care. People say, yeah, because it's socialized. Well, then we decide how you live your life. The government decides. But then they add, oh, by the way, we're not going to treat old people either. Oh, you don't believe me? Just type in top doctors or government officials call for not treating elderly. And it just says you won't get health care under this. It's bioethics. See, this is eugenics. The people that run the planet are social planners. They engineer societies. So it isn't just that they're going to take over 15%. The government already is half of our GDP. The government already owns and runs half of our society. Now it's going to get 15% more, 65%. The government is going to be over 65% of the nation, 15%, and with waste, fraud, and abuse. The feds take on average $1 of your money. With any federal program, you get about 34 cents back. And so they're going to take over 15% of the economy, and then they're going to send you 34% back. God help us, ladies and gentlemen. God help us. And the government's completely bankrupt. We're tens of trillions of dollars in debt, tens of trillions. You know, we currently owe close to $1 trillion. Currently, today, it's kind of like your credit card bill comes in, you owe this month $1 trillion. But if you look at the full debt, like it'll show your full payout on the credit card, it's over $100 trillion. That's even been in the Dallas Morning News. Well, the Dallas Morning News said 6 years ago, $54 trillion. And then now the Congressional Budget Office says, okay, it's over $100 trillion. That's right. Once you start getting into numbers this big, it starts doubling every few years. So the government's totally bankrupt. They're devaluing the dollar just to keep the illusion of the economy still going. The country's being called third world by the rest of the planet. Europeans come here now, and it's like when we used to go down to Mexico in college. I mean, literally. Come here with 100 euros, live like a king for a couple days. And it's getting worse and worse. And here's Barack Obama, and here's Hillary Clinton arguing and fighting over which socialized plan they've got, where he's going to come fine you. And CPS, he was mentioning the Massachusetts plan. CPS comes and takes your kids if you don't have health care. You see, it's the government watching you, just like it's Cuba. Just like it's the Soviet Union, hovering over you. Oh, you didn't take care of your kids. Oh, well, we're going to enroll you in forced government welfare, but now you're going to get CPS visits. Now the man's going to be at your house in your life. Well, you read the social planning documents from 100 years ago. I've had guests on this show to cover it. Hundreds of textbooks, all the thinking. Dewey, the Rockefeller Foundation, it says Americans are too smart. We got to teach them not to be able to read. We got to take over the families, break up their families. And in the 50s, they said, we'll do it to the blacks first. They said, we'll go in, tell them it's welfare. There's documents on this. They've got 90+% legitimacy. They're building their own clinics, their own doctors, their own cleaners, their own grocery stores. We'll go in, tell the women they can't have a man in the house to get this money. We know it'll break down the family, and now blacks are more than 90% illegitimate, and their societies look like a war zone. And here comes Barack Obama. He's got some more help for you. He's got some more Margaret Sanger eugenics for you. More help. Just what you need. Whites were about 4% illegitimate. Now we're over half illegitimate. Great job, government. We'll be right back, I promise, with your calls and loaded phone lines.